Now,
though.
you and Tristan have obviously, he's been acting in your film since he's been quite young, and now he's transitioned into making films. I'm assuming that you're helping in this endeavor.
Oh yeah, yeah.
What are some of the challenges? We just talked about, what some of the benefits are about being able to hang out with your son all the time and being able to bounce ideas off him. The fact that, he's interested in the same things you are. Just like anything, Tristan's probably a strong-minded individual. And I know from speaking with you, you're a pretty strong-minded individual. What are some of the challenges of trying to come together and create a film?
I think it's time is mostly it. Time is definitely the biggest challenge of all. Tristan works, I work. Nobody's paying us $2 million to go make this movie where we can just do it. So time is absolutely the worst aspect of it. Creatively, I don't know. I am more taking a back seat to this particular piece that we're doing because it really wasn't supposed to happen at all. Tristan really kind of championed it, and Tristan came to me with, which is funny, almost studio like, right? Like he sort of did it studio way and say, "Let me send you the script that I'm working on, and if you like it, we should do it." And
he's not Warner Brothers, cuz you could have just sat there.
I know he could have just said we're doing it. And I'm like, fine, but he was like, "Let me send you the script." He sent me the script, and I read it. Well, fuck yeah, this was good. So it was good, and it really brought all of the elements that needed to come together for this particular series to have a fourth part of it. So now it's the big challenge. Right now, here we have this very aggressive, very large script with a lot of people and a lot of elements that need to happen. And now the challenge is me and him have to be on the same page every day to make that happen within, 8 months.
Now, let me ask you a question, because I think this will be great for our listeners and followers to understand. Tristan and Chad are what can be best known as short filmmakers right now, correct? Am I wrong in that?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
100%.
So I think it will be great for people, because I don't think many people understand how riveting short films can be and how much work goes into them.
Yes.
When you say a lot of pages, obviously a feature film can be 150 pages, right? 200 pages of a script. And a general short film, how many pages is a script? So let's say a standard short film.
So the general rule in screenwriting in any aspect is a minute a page. Every minute of screenwriting page is a minute of the film in general.
Even
now that includes
regular feature films, not just short.
And in feature films, in any film whatsoever. And honestly,
now that's not just dialogue, correct? So for example, and I'm not going to pretend to be an expert in screenplay writing, but I do know for the most part that you do set the scene. Like trees
how the shot
blowing
is
in the
framed,
wind as camera fades away, and is that included in that minute of?
So there's two different scripts. There's the script itself, and then there's the shooting script. The shooting script will have camera angles and whatever.
So the non-shooting version is a minute per
page, which is just the action. Tristan walks into this bar. Here's the dialogue. That's a minute a page in any film ever, 100% of the time. Now, Hollywood movies or big budget films movies.
Well, let's call them features, because even an independent film, right, can be. So we'll call it a feature
movies.
Film.
Feature movies follow a 3-act play. Every single one. Any one that you've ever seen ever is 3-act. And you can do this. I to all the listeners, do this at home. The first act, which is generally for screenwriting when the main character needs to make the decision whether he's going to do what he needs to do or not, right? So the main character is either going to help save the world or do whatever they need to do, find the girl, blah, blah, blah. 20 minutes in. The first act always ends on the 20th page of the screenplay, no matter what.
But how do you get everyone across the world to adhere to this?
Do this at home. Any movie ever. Go to minute 20 of that movie. 100%. It's when the main character has to make that decision.
It's when he has his epiphany, so to speak.
When he's like, yes, John McClane in Die Hard has to save this building or whatever. Henry Hill has to do something in Goodfellas. Go to 20 minutes of any movie ever.
So that's a standard.
25. It's within a standard, 20 to 25 minutes.
So then your second and third act then don't adhere to any timing standard.
No, they're a little bit different, right? That could change. Like, the second act is then the tough part. That's when shit goes down. The hero gets beaten down.
Character building.
And the third act is obviously where
the conclusion
prevails. So, but 100%. So now let's take a short film. That's totally different. There is no 90 minutes, 120 pages. That 3-act is way shorter. So you just adhere to the minute on the page. So I think the one that Tristan wrote is 18 minutes. I think something like that. So
which in my experience, it would be a pretty long short film.
Yes. Okay. This is the longest one that we've done so far. I think Harvest, which right now is out, was 12 minutes, I think.
Okay.
Something like that. So that's sort of the weird difference. You don't necessarily follow the 3 acts. It's more of a really accelerated.
That makes sense.
But you're still having that same, there's a dilemma, there's a decision, there's an arc, there's a conclusion. You still have that same cycle, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That's storytelling 101. Every play is a 3-act. Everything that you read, every book is 3 acts.
So just so you know, just like Christopher Moltisanti, our friend Massey here is still wondering where his arc is. You know, where's his arc?
Noah had an arc. I wonder what happens to Michael Corleone in minute 20. I'm going to go check that out. I'll get back to you.
So you know what?
I'm going to tell you right now.
Godfather. Hold on. Let me see if I can guess it. So this is Godfather?
Godfather 1.
Minute 20. All right. So it starts at the wedding, correct?
Because Rod Digger was not in 8 Mile. So you're 0 for 1 right now, cuz you're 0 for 2.
I actually looked it up last night because I was like, maybe I was just wrong about the scene. And yeah, she's not in it. But
yeah.
I'm trying to think. Minute 20. Is minute 20 when he meets Luca Brasi?
No, not Michael. Michael never actually meets
Luca. I'm talking about minute 20 of the movie.
But Michael is who the movie's about.
I think minute 20 is when Vito meets.
It has to be. I don't know when it is.
But between 20 and 25 minutes.
Between 20 and 25 minutes, there has to be a moment where Michael realizes that he has
taking over the family.
I don't think it's obviously not when he shoots the cop, but at some point he has to realize nobody else can fucking do this.
Yeah, I'm the best suited for this role.
25 minutes, I guarantee.
All right. I'm going
to do this with a lot of movies. I'm going to do this with a lot of movies.
You can do it with every single one. I'm not even kidding.
Tristan, maybe you can come over and watch it with me. You've never seen The Godfather before, right?
I've never seen The Godfather, unfortunately.
We got to put this out there.
I know that's the one thing. We've watched a lot of movies.
Your cinephile title is now suspect.
Yeah, you're about to lose your card. You're about to lose your card and your flag. If it wasn't for the fact that your dad stuck with you through the Eagle Scouts, we would have definitely said he failed you. But he's doing all right. We'll let this one slide.
I watched 3 different movies, 3 different genres, 3 different classics from 3 different decades. And everything the devil's saying is 100% accurate. Godfather 1, right around the 19.5-minute mark. Michael is out front at the wedding with Kay at the table, and he's telling her about Luca Brasi and how horrible he is. And he says to her, "That's my family, it's not me," which is the first lie in a series of lies throughout the trilogy. I say this all the time, but The Bear's not about cooking. Sopranos and Godfather were not about the mafia. That was just a background thread. The whole series is really about him lying to his wife, losing his family. And, that's the start of it. And that's the end of Act 1. And even later, he realizes that he's the only one suited to take over in his father's footsteps. That in 5 years, we're going to be completely legit, all that stuff. I watched Friday, 1995. So Smokey is a strong runner-up. Craig's obviously the main character. But Smokey's decision at 19.5 minutes to not pay back Big Worm when they're sitting in his bedroom, that starts the ticking time bomb. That sets up the whole rest of the movie, because without that, it doesn't matter that him and Craig smoked. And when Worm pulls up in the ice cream truck, he's not able to tell him that we smoked up all your weed and we don't have the money, right? He gives him till 10 p.m. and then he sends the guys around to do a drive-by. So that was really the end of Act 1 and really a turning point in both main characters, setting them up for Acts 2 and 3. I watched Die Hard 1. And again, 20 minutes in, he's remembered what the guy told him about making fists with your toes and how it helps you relax. That's why he has no shoes for the rest of the movie. But right then and there is when they shoot up the plaza, and he sees these guys for the first time and realizes that he's the only one who could handle this. And again, end of Act 1, major decision for John McClane, and sets up the rest of the movie.
Give me your top most favorite thing you admire about your dad's work, and the one thing you hate the most.
Okay. Wow. All right. So the thing that I love is probably the hardest. So I'm gonna go with the one I hate the most first. I have.
Hold on, before you speak, does he know the answer already?
I don't think so at all. I don't think we've talked about this at all.
No clue.
Okay. The thing that I do hate the most, and it's not like hate, but like I wish that he tried to make it as perfect as he can. He's such a guy that's like, okay, I want to get this out as quickly as possible. I'm more of the type where I want it to be as perfect and as like seamless as possible. Like he's a very like a cheapskate. Like he will make it as cheap as possible. But if you just spend that extra couple dollars, I think you make it even better if you just pushed it a little bit more.
Well, there's two foods of thought there, right? Like, Massey and I are obviously in the content world, and we believe that, yes, obviously you have to get as much content out there as possible, right? You want to be as visible as possible. You want people to see you all the time. But if you're putting bad content out there, doesn't benefit anybody. Not saying that you're putting bad content. I don't mean that.
No, right.
What I basically mean is, sometimes you can try to over perfect it, right? Or sometimes, that could be you, Tristan. You're trying to over perfect the film or the project. Chad says, you know what? Sometimes if you try to, make things too perfect, you kind of ruin it. Yeah. Right.
And
that's true. I do have a comeback for that, but I'll wait to hear the stuff that he likes.
I was going to say, so as your dad, all the money that goes into the film doesn't go to you. That's number one. Number two, I'd have to imagine that 25 years working with him at the same place has damaged our souls to the point where we've literally been told, don't let great get in the way of good.
Correct.
Right? There's this big 80-20 rule, all that kind of shit. So like, you do have to, especially like even making music, you can always make it better. But you're constantly torn between going back to I should have said this, I should have did that, I should have made the alien look a little more realistic. Did the needle that came down in Harvest was it realistic? All those kinds of things. But okay, so that's fair enough. So it's not pride in the craft. It's spending more financially on the details and special effects piece. Then
that was like one like little example. It's just there's a couple of times where I'm like, he's rushing this really hard to get it out. Like, we need to get this out by a certain time. And there's deadlines that need to happen. But there's also a certain thing where I'm like, if we make this look a little bit better, I feel like it would look like not professional, but like in a way that's
because you know what he's capable of. Yeah,
exactly. That's really what it is.
All right. So Big Devil, Little Devil spoke. Now it's Big Devil's turn.
He's 100% right, and my wife will also say the same thing. It's 100% true. Here's the problem: when I do have these things in my head, it is so obsessive that it needs to get out. Now, the problem that we have is at this time and at the stage, and we're not paying a lot of people, so we have to. We're on the whims.
We're not paying a lot, which means somebody's getting paid. I'm going to remember that.
It's not me.
It's not you. But we don't have a lot of time to do these things. So if we need somebody, we have to get them while we have them. Because as a filmmaker for well over, I've been a filmmaker since the 90s. And I understand that there have been so many projects that started that never even got anywhere. Because at some point, we were just like, oh, we can't get together. Okay, well, then the weeks go by and you're like, fuck it, never mind. So my obsession, and I'm not even kidding, when I get into a project, which is why I'm hesitant to even do projects, is I obsess over it. I wake up in the middle of the night thinking, fuck, where are we going to film this? How are we going to do this? What are we going to do? And that's so trying on me that I just want to get it out.
Yeah.
So let's do it. And for the first 4, 5, 6 films, whatever, it was absolutely that way. It was, okay, I got this idea, let's do it. They started to be successful. So, in the film festival world. So I'm just like, all right, let's do it. Once I have the idea, let's purge it. And Tristan's right though. What we learned on Harvest, which we just did, which took, 8-9 months to complete, honestly. We slowed down. We sped up really quick. And then we were like, hold on, let's do this. Let's do that. Maybe we can film when we're on vacation, right? Which we did. So we slowed it down a little bit more, which is great. And actually, I thought it turned out fantastic. So we're working on 2 projects right now. And this Little Detectives that Tristan wrote is going to take a lot of time. I'm going to rush a little bit of it, but I'm also learning at the same time, even, again, as Tristan said, let's slow it down. Let's, really think this through. And by the way, spending money, I've already spent a lot of money on Little Detectives currently.
Really?
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, the props alone are going to be ridiculous. And also our second, so the other film that we're working on, that's about ready to start what they call principal photography, which is filming.
Oh, this sounds like it might be in the adult film world.
It's not.
I was going to say, if you need a PA, I'm in.
He's dropping industry terms on us right now.
It is rated, but like there's going to be some special effects, some gore and blood. We're slitting somebody's throat on film.
Wait, that's R, and it's not just nudity?
No, I don't know. They don't rate. I'm assuming if you slit somebody's throat, somebody's going to be like, you should.
Is this your first R?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, knowing your personal history, because I got to ask a question.
I'm sure the standards now are different, but back in the day, a lot of blood meant.
Yeah. Well, you know what? They
made Martin Scorsese saturate the red blood in Taxi Driver in order to get it to an R rating. It would have been next.
Yeah, it was too thick. It was too thick, like real blood. Now, Tristan, we heard about what I guess.
He didn't say his favorite. What is his favorite?
We heard about what irks you.
He's 100% right. I will say he is absolutely 100% right. I do need to be checked and be like, hey, let's think this through before doing something.
Because I understand 100%. Time management of the cast,
which is
once
hard.
You have the film, once the actors and actresses are out of the picture, and you have that final rough draft on your computer, I think that's also part of what he's talking about. That's when there's no time limit anymore. Because isn't it better to wait until next year's festival and make it perfect versus get it into this year's festival and make it?
I think once we get to the editing, we're fine. I don't necessarily think I rush editing at all. First of all, because we have to learn how to use it or how to do it. But I think literally the cast part is you. By the way, you're going to find this out. So we're going to have you for a day. Let's say we only have you for 2 hours. And we need to film you. That 2 hours goes quick.
Yeah.
Right. So we have to be 100% ready. We have to do it. And there are times we might not even get it within those 2 hours, which means we're going to have to schedule a whole nother thing. Right. And that's where it gets complicated. That's where I get nervous. And, that's where I'm like, okay, fuck it. Let's do. And that I think is where then it affects the product. You know what I mean?
Is he going to be yelling at me? Tristan, is he going to be yelling at me when I get
out? He's going to be ruthless.
Well, I don't want to catch a smack in the mouth and nothing.
We're hearing nothing but negatives about what you don't like about the devil here. What is it that you love and that what has pretty much guided you into attempting this venture?
Yeah.
I think the number one thing is at least for me, he's my number one supporter. So like he'll text me all the time, be like, yo, check out this movie, blah, 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 blah. You need to watch it, watch this specific, not even the movie, just this specific scene.
The shot.
To get you to understand what we're doing with our movie. He's so supportive and not like hounding supportive, like he's overly supportive to the point where it makes me like motivate myself to do more movies.
Excited.
Yeah. He's always on top of everything that I do with myself.
Well, here's great about this. I mean, and I don't know if you guys had this type of relationship, but I think it's normal for any teenager from ages like 14 to 19, even if you have a really good relationship with your parents, I feel like your relationship usually improves once you hit that 21, 22 age.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Like
the older you get, the better, for sure. 100%.
Yes. Like my father and I, we always butted heads forever. And then all of a sudden I was 21, 22. I was working, I was an adult at that point. We both probably worried about the same things, kind of, in a way. And we started to have the best relationship we ever had. We had similar interests. We were both looking at life through the same lens. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I don't know if I don't know what he's going to say about this, but I don't think we've ever really had that we don't like different things, yada, yada. But I feel like we've always been on the same page with a lot of stuff, interest wise.
Necessarily butt heads. Of course, as a father, I'm like,
father, son,
you got to do some shit. And he's like, Dad, shut up. Yeah. I get it. Like there absolutely was. I don't think there was necessarily butting heads.
But you know what I mean? Like right now, even on the film set, the butting heads situation, it's really not a father-son thing anymore. It's two peers.
Co-workers,
right? Not even co-workers. I would just say peers who have the same interest, who are now, bouncing ideas off each other. They may not agree all the time. Your conversations are different, right?
Yeah, absolutely. This will be the first time when we do little the new little detectives. It would be the first time that we really are doing it together. This is his idea.